A major mysterious Bitcoin whale that holds over 160,000 Bitcoins just sent all its Bitcoin to a new address, and this triggered one of the largest on-chain reactions we have ever seen before. And yes, on today's update video, I'm going to be talking about why this potentially could be extremely bearish for the market. I want to be talking, of course, about the Bitcoin price action, about the big beautiful bill Donald Trump just signed in towards the law, and basically what this will mean for the Bitcoin price action, and of course what this means for the USA here, because now there's a 92% chance that we are going to see the debt ceiling surpass $38 trillion this year. And of course, as this bill is going to be allowing the USA to spend more money, create more debt, there's only one thing that is likely going to be happening next year. There's going to be even more money printing. And of course, you know what that means here. Of course, there's a lot to talk about the price action on Bitcoin, the liquidity that's building up above us, below us, Ethereum, my big trade where I'm currently still in here. So don't forget, once again, sub that like button back above 1,000 likes, and let me jump straight away in towards today's update video. So first of all, Bitcoin is of course still in this major consolidation phase here. You can start to see that of course we had a slight little fake out here. I was of course expecting potentially to be holding on towards this level, but of course on yesterday's video I talked about this major level of liquidity laying below us right there, and actually Bitcoin exactly grabbed out that liquidity on the lower side, right? And now once again here, like you can see over here, yesterday I talked about this liquidity, we grabbed it on the lower side. And now, once again, we're starting to be building up liquidity above us again here. So now the consensus is that most likely Bitcoin is going to be squeezing towards the upside. And this time around, it lays around the all-time high here, 111,000 US dollars. So that is, of course, a very exciting target if you would ask me here. Then, of course, if I'm looking at the funding rates here on the market, we can clearly see the funding rates are very negative, especially on Bitcoin. Solana as well here with their newly released ETF here. Ethereum as well. So most of the traders are right now trading short here, and of course usually the majority of the market is wrong here, and that is of course a very bullish signal right now here. And of course, as more and more people are trading short, the short squeeze could only get bigger here. And of course you can clearly see the big level of resistance clearly right now is going to be that 110,000 US dollars, which is that previous high in the market, not the all-time high, but the previous high in the market. And yeah, Bitcoin is just getting rejected from off that exact high here. You can see it on this major consolidation phase where we've actually been trading in for already the last, 57 days right now here. And it's going to become one point where, of course, this breakout is really finally going to take place here. But first, we need to see the confirmed breakout above the range here, because clearly, like you can see over here, we have seen a lot of rejections from the range high, a lot of bounces from the range low here. And whenever we're going to be seeing the breakout, we have to confirm the breakout outside of the range here. And then quickly, I want to be talking about this mysterious Bitcoin wallet here. I mean, I've tweeted a lot about it yesterday here, but basically a wallet that has been not active for 14 years here, started to distribute its holdings. And I mean, he holds it over, or he or she, I don't know who it is, holds over 161,000 Bitcoin worth approximately 17 billion US dollars. And he's keep on sending its Bitcoin in patches of 10,000 US dollars to new addresses. And the question is, should we be worried? Because it's going to be $17 billion of sell pressure. And to give you an overview on how big of a thing this is here, this is the chart with the output for Bitcoin with an age above 10 years here. And you can see, never we see such big spikes. But yesterday, this is the green candle, we had the largest spike ever, and this just shows you how big of an event this is here. We have never seen something so big happen on chain as we saw yesterday. So yeah, this is of course something very important to understand. And of course, if he's going to be selling, it's going to be very bearish. But of course, so far, no sell orders have been triggered. And of course, as soon as it is going to get triggered, I will let you know here, because then we could be expecting some additional sell pressure on the market. But for now on, it is still quite okay here. Then for Bitcoin on the daily time frame, we're still seeing this downward sloping resist line getting created, and basically also the downward sloping support line. So we're still creating this bull flag pattern. So yeah, the question really remains, when are we going to be breaking outside of this bull flag? Because that is going to be kickstarting the next rally higher, right? And yeah, just like we also saw previously around, whenever we start to be breaking above the bull flag, retested it into support, that is when, of course, the major rally higher really got started for Bitcoin. And of course, I talked about my price targets already so many times already on the top side. I mean, we are seeing a big liquidity grab. We're seeing literally history repeating compared to 2017 as well here. And yeah, you can really compare this historical pattern with, of course, previously around the FTX collapse here, which was of course the ultimate bottom, and it was of course the trap on the lower side, and then the yen carry trade trap, which was also marking the exact bottom and eventually shot Bitcoin all the way towards the upside. Now of course we got first of all the tariff sphere on the lower side, then we of course are in that consolidation range here. We had of course the affairs within that conflict on the Middle East here, potentially World War III breaking out, of course. That remain to be a trap right now as well here, and now we are starting to see that breakout on the top side of the region. Of course, it really depends on how you're going to be drawing the line here, but you can see a lot of similarities between those two consolidation phases. So once again, history is repeating for the market. And of course, also yesterday we got the big beautiful bill from Donald Trump, a major bill with a lot of things here, like with more spending to the military, with tax cuts, with of course the debt ceiling being risen once again for the US government. It also means that the US debt ceiling is once again rising with 5 trillion US dollars. And of course, the last time we got such a big bill signed in towards the law was the Fiscal Responsibility Act, which happened back in 2023. That added about $4.7 trillion, so a very similar number. And that also caused Bitcoin to run very quickly towards the upside, because ultimately, if there's more debt creation in the market, and right now also the consensus is that the US government is going to be at least surpassed 38 trillion US dollars in debt in 2025 here. There's a 92% chance for that here. But as there's more debt getting created, there's of course more interest to be paid. And how are they going to be paying that interest? By more money printing by the Federal Reserve, because the Federal Reserve basically gives the money towards the US government in government bonds here. So yeah, it is ultimately a very good thing here, because that will devaluate the dollar. And of course, if the dollar devaluates, it is going to be Bitcoin that is going to be valuated higher. So yes, really, if you're investing with that long-term vision, if you're really investing and looking at, okay, is it going to be good for Bitcoin in the coming 2 or 3 years? Yes, for sure. Is it going to be good for Bitcoin today or tomorrow? Probably we're not quite sure, because we don't know how the market is going to react on the imminent short term. But for the longer term, it's very great here, because ultimately there's going to be way more money creation, and that is of course a great thing for all markets. So yeah, Bitcoin is really still following the global liquidity, and yeah, the global liquidity is showing us big signs of increasements from this point onwards. So yeah, I'm quite excited for what is about to be happening next there. And I mean, I discussed it already in many previous videos, so I'm not going to be going in depth about that right now here. So yeah, going in towards my trade, of course, we were first closer towards my first take profit target. Now we're down to 2,500 US dollars once again here. It is not too bad here, still in 460k in profit. And yeah, I remain to be very confident on my trade here. Guys, if you really want to be trading yourself in Europe, you can do so on spot on Bybit. If you find the link in the description of today's video, you will get a free 5,000 US dollars up on registration reward here, and already a 30 US dollars free sign-up bonus. So make sure to check it out in the link of the description of today's video. Of course, if you're not living in Europe, you can check out Bybit Global. But if you're trading or living in Europe, guys, make sure to check out Bybit Europe, the best regulated exchange out there. But giving a big update on Ethereum, I mean, we have seen recently the golden cross come in here. We have also seen this major liquidity grab on the monthly time frame. Also, just like 2017, moments before we had this major run higher, we first saw the big liquidity grab here. So I'm quite excited for that to be very honest. Of course, I've discussed this pattern also many times before, with first of all, the liquidity grab on the top side, then the liquidity grab on the lower side, and then we're going to be having that major breakout. And of course, that is exactly what is happening so far here. Personally, I do believe at least we're going to be moving towards the top side of the region, and probably an even bigger continuation is going to be quite likely for Ethereum. I think things are looking very good. Things are literally coiling up right now here on the weekly time frame as well. We have seen this major fake out on the lower side, and now we're starting to see this big pushback towards the upside again here. So yeah, I'm very excited. Of course, if you're looking at this big level right here, you can see Ethereum exactly bounced from off this level. This is a level where we previously ran, got major rejections from, major support, and once again found support from. So yeah, super excited we bounced from off that level, and it shows us that we probably still have more strength to be moving back towards the top side, because ultimately the target we have is the top side of this region, which is of course by far one of the biggest levels of resistance for ETH. And if we're going to be hitting that level, I will be almost fully scale out of the market here. But for now on, I still think we have a lot of steam left to run at least towards that upside target here. So yeah, that was it for me in today's update video. If you did enjoy the video, don't forget to subscribe to the channel, stop on that like button, and see you guys on the next one. Peace out. Goodbye.